It is Monday, the 19th day of July 2021. Hello there and welcome to News Tonight. On sign language, it is Elizabeth Nakakoni and I am Edward Rukidi Kijanangoma. And let's get started. Now, Uganda Police Directorate of Training has signed a memorandum of understanding with Mercury University, where senior superintendents of police will undergo a one-year master's degree in peace and conflict management. The arrangement for the master's training in peace and conflict management comes timely when the public is perceiving police that is supposed to keep law and order as an enemy of the public when it comes to public order management. However, at the signing of the MOU, Assistant Inspector General of Police Godfrey Golova, who doubles as the Director of Training at Uganda Police, said the course will help cement the relationship between security and the public.
Races that are not in Africa, they are also here in Uganda. We are also religiously the most diverse country you can think of. And therefore our police has a big challenge to manage these very different people in this small country. And they need to be very highly professionally trained. As Mercury University, we are very happy to be affiliated. Yeah, okay. We are very happy to be affiliated with the police college. And we have been having programs together with the police, but this time we are going to work together on a master in peace and conflict resolution.
As you know, there has been a lot of, I don't want to say outcry, but complaints about how we perform our duties, and the Inspector General of Police deemed it important to start training once again as it used to be. And Police Command and Staff College was opened 6 or so years ago, and we have been dealing with a different university, which is from Costa Rica.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, UN University for Peace. But we looked at it and said, you know, I think we have enough capacity in Uganda to teach the same program as as those people were doing. And
this MOU with you and look forward to.
Very good initiative there, of course, between Uganda Police and Mercury University. Now, the government of Japan has announced its commitment to pursue the whereabouts of a Ugandan weightlifter, Julius Sechitoleko, who is reported to have gone missing from the Uganda Olympic team delegation, which is currently in Japan. The Japanese ambassador to Uganda, His Excellency Fukazawa Hidemoto, Monday morning engaged the Ugandan government through the State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Okello Oryem, on the same matter, noting that Sechitoleko will be repatriated back home very soon. Here is our reporter, Robert Onyago.
Last week, social media users were awash with the reports of a missing Ugandan Olympian, Julius Sechitoleko, in Japan. The 20-year-old weightlifter was among the Ugandan delegation, which is in Japan, taking part in the 2020 Tokyo Games. Now the Japanese authorities have initiated a search and repatriation process for the Olympian.
So we are trying to find this gentleman and have him not find safely and return back to Uganda to meet his family.
State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Okello Oryem, says Sechitoleko's conduct is regrettable and calls for punishment to avoid future occurrences.
It is a very challenging situation when you have young men who we train, prepare to go and represent the country abroad, and then they defect and jump ship and in those countries and do not participate in the games, or they participate in the games and then disappear. This is the very reason why the police is to investigate and get at the bottom of this issue, how he became part and accredited as part of the Ugandan Olympic team.
Okello Oryem, however, waters down the argument that such acts are as a result of quench for greener pasture.
Every day we send girls here to go and look for opportunities in the Middle East, men here to go and look for work in the Middle East, but they go in using the proper avenue. They apply for a passport. We get them visas to the countries they're going to. They are recognized for going there using the legitimate way. But if you use this korokoro way of going abroad, you should be arrested.
During a high-level meeting between Uganda and Japan at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Kampala, it was agreed that the parcel for Sekitoreko takes course.
There are individuals in Japan who are illegally staying, who doesn't have a working visa and working illegally, okay? This issue and what we are facing now is different. These people went to Japan on their own passport, they applied a visa, for tourist visa, and are working. This gentleman is a different case, completely different.
Minister Obua, Minister for Sports, is going to Japan tomorrow. We have discussed this matter with him, and I think he was going to discuss this matter with his minister, First Lady General Museveni, and also security personnel on how we can go and make sure that there are no further disappearance or defections by our members of the Olympic team there. So the minister is going there, the minister will be on the ground, working with the chief of missions, and will do everything possible to make sure that there is no other disappearance.
It should be recalled that while flagging off this team at Colorado Independence Grounds, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, among other calls, cautioned the team against indiscipline. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Thanks, Robert, for that report there, and we do hope that Julius Sekitoreko will be brought home back soon. Meanwhile, outgoing director of the National Leadership Institute, Nali Chankwanzi, and permanent secretary designate Major General David Kasura has officially handed over office to the incoming director, Brigadier General Charles Kisembo. The ceremony was presided over by the Permanent Secretary, Office of the President, Haji Yunus Kakandi, in the presence of the Chief of Defence Forces, General Wilson Mbasu Mbadi. Our reporter, Benadiga, with more on that.
Brigadier General Charles Kisembo is the new director of the National Leadership Institute, Chankwanzi. The position was formerly held by Major General David Kasura, who was recently appointed by the President to serve as the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industries and Fisheries. Presiding over the function, Haji Yunus Kakande, the Permanent Secretary, Office of the President, challenged Brigadier General Kisembo to transform the Institute into a complete international college for leadership so that it attracts people outside Uganda, not only limited to Ugandan participants.
This is an international institute, and the challenge I'm giving my brother here, that let's work together and see how do we make it a complete international college for leadership.
He thanked the outgoing director, Major General Kasura, for being instrumental towards implementing developmental projects at the Institute at a low cost, adding that the concept of Major General Kasura of using the Engineers Brigade for such projects is now being co-opted to build schools and other government institutions.
Major General Masiko was here, he did his part here, and his contribution. Brigadier Mwesi also was here as a deputy. He did his work. He has done tremendously well. Now, Professor Kisembo is coming. We think that also with his coming, you are giving us always quite.
The Chief of Defence Forces, General Wilson Mbadi, congratulated the outgoing director, Major General Kasura, on his appointment as the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Agriculture, adding that Uganda's economy is hinged on agriculture.
If you mismanage agriculture, you are mismanaging Vision 2040. So when we have a caliber of Kasura going into that, now you will stop talking, go and work. So I want to congratulate you. And General Kisembo, we call him Professor, that guy. Yeah? I also want to thank you for being elevated to come and lead this institute.
The outgoing director, Major General Kasura, in his remarks said that the undoubted ability of the new director will take the institute to another level and emphasized that Nali is a special place of the revolution and revolutionary ideas which needs to be nurtured.
The officers and men of Nali are diligent, committed and professional. With your doubtless and very good committed leadership and intellectualism, with your guidance and with your undoubted ability, you will take the institute to even a higher level.
Brigadier General Charles Chisembo, the incoming director, in his remarks thanked the President and Commander-in-Chief for trusting and appointing him as director of the institute. Brigadier General Chisembo called for cooperation among the team that he will lead for the institute to achieve its objectives.
And I expect you to lend me your support. To lend me your support as you have always done to the outgoing commandant. Because without us working together as a team, without us creating the esprit de corps, there is nothing we can achieve.
Present at the ceremony was the Chief of Personnel and Administration, Major General George Igumba, the Chief Political Commissar, Major General Henry Masiko, Chief of Staff, Land Forces, Brigadier General Bob Ogik, Commander Field Artillery Division, Brigadier General Daniel Kakono, Brigadier General David Isimbwa, Commissioner Patriotism, Brigadier General Patrick Mwesigye, Dean of RDCs, Major Martha Asimwe, and senior officers of the UPDF.
From the army to the agriculture sector, where Minister for Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries Frank Tumwebaze has revealed a committee that will study and profile agrochemicals, acaricides and inputs available on the market in Uganda. The team of 11 shall be chaired by Professor John Kawasa, the Principal, College of Veterinary Medicine, Animal Resources and Biosecurity, Makerere University. Tumwebaze was addressing the press at the media center here in Kampala, where he also revealed that his tenure will focus on transforming the agricultural sector from subsistence to commercial agriculture.
Not everybody opens up a human medicine pharmacy. How is it in the other side? Are they retailed? Are they wholesalers? That supply chain of these agrochemicals. It will help us to know who is a legitimate dealer and who is not, and how is the industry structured in the market. They will study and inquire into the forms of complaints and their probable root causes regarding the quality of agrochemicals, acaricides, and inputs from the farmers and other stakeholders in the entire value chain. The farmers have different complaints. Somebody will say, I applied Dicatex, it worked on my animals. Another one will say, I applied Dicatex, it did not work. Yet you find they are from the same district of Rakai or Kamwenge. So want to know what is the problem. Is it that there are different Dicatexes on the market? I'm using Dicatex as an example.
Agriculture Minister Frank Tumwebaze ending that report there. Now, members of Parliament have been given an opportunity to present unfulfilled government pledges from their respective constituencies to the Committee of Government Assurances and Implementation. The committee chairperson Betty Namboze Bachireke says this will help in tracing 75 trillion Ugandan shillings worth of unfulfilled pledges over a period of more than 30 years. Now, this was during the maiden sitting of the Government Assurances Committee of Parliament, whose 37 members have pledged commitment and teamwork towards effective service delivery. Henry Okrut reports.
It was a moment of commitment, appreciation and assurance as the Parliamentary Committee on Government Assurances and Implementation held its maiden meeting.
Some people already don't know. Mr. Museveni has already paid them, but they have never received the money. And this is where you are going to find a lot of resistance. Those people, the handlers of the president, sometimes money does not reach the beneficiaries.
Betty Namboze, the chairperson of the committee, says manifestos of all political parties represented in parliament will be examined, whereas majority of the committee members are from the ruling National Resistance Movement. Namboze calls for teamwork.
When you have a trip, you shall deposit your transport on your account. If you don't go and sign in those attendance books, or you go in one day, you disappear, I will not hesitate to write to the accountant to deduct that money from you on your next salary.
Members, all of whom are new on the committee, pledged cooperation, commitment and energy towards this new task.
And I want to pledge that much as there are more people of the ruling party here, I'm sure that what is important is what are we discussing. It should not be a party issue, but the issues at hand.
It is part of the orientation, and a great many of us are new. So we don't want to plunge into the waters without really knowing how to hold the rudder. So I really think that is very critical for us to be able to go forward.
We promise to work with you under your leadership, and I'm sure we shall make this committee the best.
Earlier, Namboze had expressed discomfort in meeting the head of state in case need arose. These fears were, however, allayed by Namutumba District Woman Member of Parliament, Mariam Naigaga.
But the principle of democracy provides that the majority takes the day, but the minority should also be heard.
We have confidence in you as our chair. Majority of members on this committee are NRM, and we are looking forward to working with you to ensure we achieve what the Ugandans put into consideration is to put the party NRM into power.
In so doing, the committee will be effective towards meeting its objectives.
And we are very optimistic that we're going to sit down and trace as far back as we can go to find out what pledges government has made to Ugandans and how far those pledges have been implemented. If they have not been implemented, why?
Focus will be on tracing government pledges spanning over 30 years, amounting to about 75 trillion Uganda shillings. To achieve this, orientation of committee members has been recommended, a reason why a retreat about the same is programmed to take place. Henry Okurut, UBC.
That we shall.
Kampala resident City Commissioner Hood Hussein has refuted allegations that he ordered security operatives to use maximum force while enforcing COVID-19 guidelines. Hussein says the cases received concerning brutality are isolated and cannot overshadow the progress police and other security agencies have made. Sudat Kaye gives us more. We apologize, but that story is still being worked on and we'll give it to you when it is ready. But moving on, at least 4,000 families have been left homeless in Amolatar district. Now this has resulted from the flash floods from the rising Lake Choga, which has submerged several kilometers of the district's land. The floods have also submerged roads, disconnecting a number of communities from accessing social services in the district. Eddie Olua gives us more.
As the country grapples to contain the second wave of COVID-19, Amolatar district seems to be going through the worst in the country, with all the crops burnt in the gardens due to prolonged sunshine, the Peninsula District has also lost hundreds of acres of gardens and homesteads to floods from Lake Kyoga and Kwania, leaving thousands homeless.
It's over 12,000 people that have been displaced, but it is over 4,000 households that has been displaced by the rising water level.
And this is what you don't need an explanation. In fact, in a Latin maxim, is commonly referred to as res ipsa loquitur. The evidence speaks for itself. You don't need to dig deep.
We have finalized with assessment on the families that have been affected. So the immediate task now that we have is to inform the center that there is urgent need for support.
The floods have not only swallowed homesteads but also submerged several roads. Nalobwoyo is one of the sub-counties cut off by floods. For one to access a medical service at the only health center in the district, one has got to use a canoe costing between 2,000 to 3,000 shillings.
The incident of postnatal is the biggest problem here because so far like 3 mothers have gave birth on the way.
The damage began last year when both Lake Kyoga and Kwania busted its banks, swallowing all parts of the 16 sub-counties in the district in what elders believe is a repeat of what happened in 1964. Yep. Moses Junior Okotbitek is the MP of Kyoga County who wants government to rush to the rescue of the impoverished community.
Almost 80% of my salary, my first earning, I spent in giving little aid. Honorable Anyakuni from Napak Gonakapirit should know that our people are in dire need. The Right Honorable Prime Minister should know.
If they are not relocated, the entire land area have been submerged by water. So they need relocation to a different area. So it's beyond the district capacity.
Desperate times actually brings desperate means. We're going to use a lot more desperate means to catch the attention of the Prime Minister to know that if the situation is not handled, we are badly off.
Victims, however, fear they could be hit hard by famine and are calling for immediate relief supplies such as food, fast-growing seeds and shelter, among others. Eddie Olwa for UBC News in Amolata District.
Thanks, Eddie Ola, for that report there. And news just in. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has joined the Muslim community in Uganda and across the world to celebrate this year's Eid al-Adha, the Muslim festival of sacrifice. Now, Eid al-Adha is an Islamic festival to commemorate the willingness of Abraham, also known as Abraham, to follow Allah's command to sacrifice his son. The event is celebrated worldwide by the Muslim fraternity. Now, the president called on all believers to emulate Prophet Ibrahim's example of total devotion and submission to the will of Allah. He called for the strict observance of COVID-19 SOPs in the fight against the pandemic.
Countrymen and countrywomen, I join the Muslim community in Uganda and across the world in the celebration of Eid al-Adha, or the festival of the sacrifice. This is the day when our Muslim brothers and sisters commemorate Prophet Ibrahim's portrayal of total faith and obedience to Allah when he accepted sacrifice his only child, Ismail. All believers are called upon to emulate Prophet Ibrahim's example of total devotion and submission to the will of Allah. May your good deeds and sacrifices be accepted and blessed by Allah. The First Lady, Mama Janet, joins me in wishing you blessed Eid al-Adha prayers and celebrations. Finally, I encourage you to observe the COVID-19 safety protocols. It is by strict observance of these protocols, the standard operating procedures, that we shall be able to defeat this monster, the COVID-19. Stay well, stay safe. Thank you.
His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni wishing the Muslim fraternity in Uganda Eid al-Adha celebrations. We'll now be taking a short break, but when we come back, we'll be looking at what's happening in the world of business. Stay with us.
As the financial year 2020-2021 draws to an end, URA has put measures in place to facilitate taxpayers to file their returns and pay taxes within the set deadline. All our offices across the country and the URA Contact Center shall remain open to provide extra support to our esteemed taxpayers. Additionally, we have extended our contact center service hours from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Friday and from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturdays and public holidays. In light of the COVID-19 risks, we encourage taxpayers to reach us through our improved contact center and other online platforms instead of making physical visits to our offices. For online support, please reach us through our toll-free lines 0800 117 000 or 0800 217 000. Email services@ura.go.ug. Website ura.go.ug. Social media: Facebook, URA page, Twitter @URA-Uganda. URA Customs Help Tool, help.ura.go.ug/login. URA appreciates all taxpayers who have duly fulfilled their obligations. Stay safe and let us all observe the standard operating procedures to prevent further spread of the COVID-19 virus. Stay safe as we develop Uganda together.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Central Points when you deposit, send, and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go, MTN.
In efforts to improve quality assurance and Uganda's competitiveness as a tourist destination, Uganda Tourism Board is set to undertake a nationwide grading and classification exercise of hotel and accommodation facilities. As a member of the East African community, Uganda subscribes to the East African Grading and Classification Criteria, a system denoted by stars ranging from 1 to 5. The grading and classification exercise will be crowned by the awarding of star ratings to facilities found compliant to the EAC minimum standards. This is therefore a call to all accommodation and facility owners and managers to register and get licensed by UTB as a requirement and get ready for participation. For more information, visit www.utb.go.ug or email qualityassurance@utb.go.ug for details. Uganda Tourism Board, promoting tourism together.
Airtel Uganda has the best and most affordable rates when it comes to withdrawing and sending money. Withdraw money for as low as 330 shillings up to a maximum of 12,500 shillings. Sending money is just as affordable as ever. Absolutely unbeatable. Use Airtel Money on the most affordable network with the largest network of Airtel Money branches in Uganda. Dial *185# to get started. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
A human rights defender is anyone working to promote and protect human rights in a non-violent manner. This often exposes them to risk. Are you a woman human rights defender, a journalist, legal professional, youth and/or person with a disability engaged in defending the rights of others, and your right has been violated or abused in the process, or you have encountered someone defending people's rights whose rights have been violated? Contact the National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders Uganda on toll-free line 0800 100 250 or helpline 0778 576 852.
Uganda, today is a great day to work towards your dreams. Dial *185*7# and select savings to save as low as 500 Ugandan shillings on regular savings or 250,000 Ugandan shillings for fixed deposits. Airtel Money Super Saver is powered by KCB Bank Uganda. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless. T's and C's apply.
Welcome back from that short break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Elizabeth Nakakoni is on sign language, and I'm Rikidi Edward Kijanangoma. Some business news now. Sector players in forex trading are embracing new technologies in order to serve their customers better and grow their businesses. Kiraje Sisi, an administrator at LOM's Forex Bureau, attributes the quick technological adoption to the COVID-19 pandemic. Absa Africa Financial Index 2020 ranks Uganda second best in Africa in the ease of access to foreign exchange, as we hear from Dennis Sigor.
Arua Park is one of the busiest business centers in Kampala's central business district. The streets here are jammed with trucks loading merchandise to mainly northern Uganda, West Nile region, and the neighboring countries of South Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo. The nature of business involvement of foreign traders who buy goods in bulk have led to the steady growth of the forex business. In its 8 years of existence, LOM's Forex Bureau and money transfer located on Titanic Towers has grown from 2 employees to over 50 currently, and also managed to open branches in northern Uganda and South Sudan.
Well, our major target right now in the next 2 years is going digital. We want to digitalize a lot of our services to be able to reach out to our customers more. We've been affected by the pandemic, and it's a little bit hard right now to interface with customers face to face.
We mostly center on our customers, giving good customer service. Now, giving good customer service means like you give a good experience for all the customers. I train my employees constantly. We have trainings on customer service.
Similar to other players in the financial sector, LOM's growth journey has been littered with challenges. These include increasing number of competitors within the same area, fraud, crime, and the most recent COVID-19 pandemic.
It is important to be prudent in whatever business, to try and reserve, save whatever you can, even in the worst of times, with the hope that business will be opened up and resume as soon as possible. Secondly, is to find alternative things as well as the use of digital services.
The only thing that we can minimize fraud is to go digital and embrace people to do e-transfers. You know, you go to EFT, probably RTGS, you do all those kind of banking, net banking, and the mobile money. It will limit it reduces, but to a smaller extent.
For sustainability, the forex business has now joined forces with commercial banks through the agent banking product, also embraced new technologies to ease service delivery and enhance security.
Well, agent banking is more like third-party banking. So we are intermediary with different banks. We have most of the banks. So basically, people don't have to go to the banks and make those long queues lining up for money. They can just come here and deposit their money and withdraw their money.
Absa Africa Financial Index 2020 ranked Uganda second best in Africa in the ease of access to foreign exchange. South Africa topped the index with 80 points, whereas Uganda comes second with a score of 67 points. Dennis Igor for UBC Business.
good news for Uganda then as far as doing business is actually concerned. And thanks, Dennis, for that report there. And that's it for now. Our next bulletin will come your way at 10 p.m. On Sign Language. It is Elizabeth Nakakoni, and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. See you at 10.
Good evening, viewers. Thank you for watching. This is Women